we have this thing called limited perspective versus omniscient perspective. So limited perspective, I know as much as the characters.
Yep.
And a lot of whodunits are done this way because it's fun trying to guess.
Mm-hmm.
So in a limited perspective, I wouldn't have access to that part where they say, well, we'll train him. We won't transfer him. You might have the conversation, I think you should transfer him. Do you? And we might have faded out there.
Yeah.
But if you had that at all, you might not have even had that. Or at least not until maybe he comes and they interview and you get the flashback then and you omit that scene. So when he's telling the story, we get that. The other one's omniscient, which is what this one does, where you kind of get to see everything. And so now
Columbo,
the part we're doing, is going, exactly. So Columbo, for the most part, they almost always show you the murder first.
Yeah.
And then it's, will Columbo stumble upon it? Or how's he going to get them to tell him or whatever it is?
Yeah.
So they're both used heavily in like horror movies. I was just an example. So let's give an example where I message you and say, come on up to my office. And we follow you, and we're following you the whole time. You're our main character. And then you get into the office and I put a bag over your head and throw you out the window. Okay. So what's the enjoyment for the audience? Surprise.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's limited. I'm limited to your perspective.
Yeah.
Omniscient. I talk to Megs and Kev and go, all right, we're going to
do this.
We're going to trap Liam. So as soon as he comes in, I want you to put the bag over his head and I want you to open the window and him over here. I'm going to message him. And message you. Then we cut to you getting the message. You go upstairs. Okay. So now I don't have surprise, but what I have is tension.
Mm-hmm.
Because we almost want to will you into turning around.
Turn around.
And so horror movies work, the long walk up the stairs sometimes. If you know the killer's up there versus when you don't know the killer's up there and you can do jump scares and things like that.
What was that noise down in the basement with no light fixture?
Yeah.
And that rattle. What was that?
So
Should we go investigate?
If you don't know, that can build fear. Or if you do know, it can build apprehension. Don't go down there.
Yeah.
Both can be really effective.